Welcome to the Fitness and Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Kennedy, and I'm here to help you become the very best version of yourself. What's up, legends? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Fitness and Lifestyle Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Ryan Lewis. I was fortunate enough to meet Ryan through a good friend, Rory, a few years back. Ryan owns gym Spark Up Fitness in Adelaide, South Australia, and I was over there with the family for a bit and got to head in and do a few sessions at Ryan's facility there, and absolutely love the way that he goes about things. And I've only heard good things from Rory and a few of his other members, so I thought, what better way to get inside the mind of the great man other than to get him on the podcast. So, mate, Ryan, thanks for joining us today, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, man. It's a pleasure to chat to you. Obviously, both we've got a good mate in Rory, and I followed all your stuff over there, and it's good to actually have a face-to-face chat, talking about fitness and everything going on in the world at the moment.
100%, man. As I mentioned to you briefly when we spoke yesterday, I wanted to keep today's episode bit of a mixture between, I guess, the business and operational side of things of the gym and that you got going there. And I think, even if a lot of the members that tune into this episode will probably get a good insight into exactly what goes into making sure it's as successful as it is. But and then also the training side of things, you're a bit of a weapon yourself, so I wouldn't mind touching on a bit of that at some point, man. But give us an idea of I guess, the process since day one of deciding to open up a facility, and I guess the things that may have caught you by surprise in the early days of opening up, and the things you probably weren't expecting from the operational and business side of things.
Well, the biggest thing is probably the workload. Like, it's crazy. Anyone that's involved in a gym, it's the hours you put in. Like, it's mind blowing. So pretty much, like, the first sort of 2 years of my life was engulfed in this place. Like, which, like, like we spoke about before, the hours are huge. So it's all early mornings, late nights, and then when you're building a business, it's building your brand and building clientele and so forth from there. So that was probably the biggest thing. The hours are huge. So and when you start off, like, it's you. That's it. Like, you don't have staff. You run the classes. You program the classes. You clean the gym. You do all your advertising. You do all your promotional stuff. I'm lucky enough, my wife at home, or my wife was working then. She helped me out a lot with the admin side of things. So she was working full time as well. So we're both working, like 100+ hour weeks every week, back to back, 7 days a week.
Prior to opening up the gym, what were you doing previously before that? Were you just working out at, like, almost subcontracting for someone else as a trainer, or in another field completely?
So I was actually in another, I've trained my whole life ever since. I've trained and I've coached in sport my whole life. But yeah, I was in I was a builder for 15 years. Traveled around Australia doing that, plus playing footy. Then I was working in transport and got involved. Got involved when F45 took off. Only because my wife wanted to do it, and I was like, I've never done group training. I've always trained myself and trained people. And then I was like, I really enjoyed, because I've played team sports, I really enjoyed that group environment. And then I was like, well, I'm going to take what I know mainly from my sporting and coaching career, and put that into a gym and how I want people to really should be looked after in that. And I just thought that the way I could do it was, to build a culture and build a brand. Just all about, really the biggest thing is just about being genuine, honest, and making people feel appreciated. So that was the biggest thing that I found in any other gym that I'd trained at before. A lot of gyms, you're just a number. That's it. You're a number. You don't care. Like, people don't care. Like, they come in, and most gyms are more worried about what I've found. So that's probably a lot of gyms are more worried about signing the next new member. That's their goal. Their goal is about getting a new member, Yeah. So where I was more about, like, building a brand, building my people, and then it's all about looking after who you have. So my biggest focus and my biggest drive is solely about looking after every member we have here and treating them like as utmost importance. And that's how we've grown from there. So, we started with 10 members. That was it, just friends and that. And it's grown and they got, word spread from that. Everything's word of mouth. And everyone knows here that you're going to get treated, whether it's your first session or your 1,000 session, exactly the same. It's not like, you've been here for 4 years, you're part of the furniture. Like, you get treated exactly the same. You still get the same care. We still follow it up. We still talk to you, all the rest. And that's how it's grown. And now it's been like, Danny comes here, loves it, tells his best mate, and then his best mate comes, he gets the same treatment. So, and that's how it's grown. And that's why I think why it's been successful now is because we have such good people here.
Yep.
And then good people bring other good people.
And
that's how it's grown. So that's where the qualities come from. So that's where the cares come from as well, because the culture that we install here now is that, like, everyone knows what to expect. So they're only going to bring good people into it because they want those good people to be involved in this culture. So, and it's a genuine care. Like, someone will come in, or be a new member, and other members will know the new members. They'll just go straight up to them.
Yeah.
And they'll talk and say,
so everyone's on board.
Everyone's on board because everyone wants that, and everyone wants to protect what they have here, and they know the expectations. So I'm pretty firm like with that as well. Like, I'm strong on the culture and that sort of thing, and our expectations. So everyone knows that, and everyone drives that. So and that's the key to it. Like, if we as coaches and owners are the only ones driving culture, well, then it sort of burns out. Where if you have everyone on board and all the members on board driving that culture and that expectations and that standards and that everyone, then it just spreads across the whole gym, and every new member comes in and they know what to expect. And then when they bring a new friend in, they're like, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to get treated.
Yeah.
So when that new member comes in, they get involved. Then they'll tell their friend. They'll say, "This is what's expected, and this is how it grows." So,
I guess, in terms of like leading by example, is definitely something that you're trying to preach in there as well. I mean, as you said, it's almost like all the new members have just by being in their class, they're almost getting trained to be your next. Like they become your best marketing tool is the experience of those
100%.
that have done the sessions.
100%. Yeah, because like you can see, like you can promote yourself as much as you want on social media, as much as you want, and it's a great tool to have. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic tool to have, and it's something that we are very fortunate enough in this new age that, like, 10 years ago it didn't exist, like it does now. So it's incredible how much you can grow off that. But I think like where your quality comes from is all word of mouth. Because then they bring other quality with them. So, and there's a lot of people out there that probably go to gyms and train for the wrong type of reasons. And that's not like, I'm fortunate enough in the position now, if I have someone that comes into the gym and if they aren't, if they're coming to the gym for the reason, then to try feel good and help other people, if they've got other, motives, then it's just like, see you later. Train someone else. Like, we're fortunate enough to be able to do that, and everyone knows that. So that's
stick to your niche clientele and be super strict with the values. Yeah, with the values, something that you intentionally set out to make a super important thing from day one, or did that just kind of gradually happen and you just notice yourself like how important staying nice and strong to your core values was for not only the business itself but also the culture in the gym there?
No, so I'm all about like that, as like the person I am, and that's how I want to be portrayed. And that's how I want people to portray. So like, I'm honest in everything I do, and that's how I want our people to be. So I would treat every member like I treat a friend. Exactly the same. Like, if you're a member here, you're a friend. So the way I treat a friend is how I treat a member. So, and we're all the same. So it's something that's been so important to me from day one. Like everything I do and how I, if someone messages me, like, I'm so on to, like, if you message me, I'm replying to you that day. It might be late at night by the time I get home, but I'll reply to you. If you email me, like, I'm hot on that. You get back to people, you talk to people, like, you don't take anyone for granted.
Yeah.
So, and then you expect it in return. Like, and like in the world is, you're going to get every now and then, it's not going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect. It's the world. It's human nature, and you're going to get burnt from time to time, and that's cool. And you deal with that. So, but it's so, it's so important. And I go home every night, and I go to sleep knowing that I've done the best of my ability to make sure everyone got the best workout they can. So, like, all my trainers know the standards. Like, my trainers know I look after all my trainers and so for everyone that works for me, but they know the standard that we expect. So we want everyone to come here and have the best workout they can possibly have. So, and I push that across every train. So every Tuesday week we have personal development with all our coaches. So we sit down and we go through and we reiterate every fortnight, or it's either weekly, every fortnight, depending, but definitely every fortnightly. We talk about our standards. We talk about our expectations, and we go through on our teaching and training and making them better. So they're always accountable, and so they drive those standards as well.
That's awesome. The educational and upskilling side of things, particularly in the fitness space, is so important. Just as you clearly would know, it's ever changing, and there's always something else to learn. And a lot of the time, it's not there. Probably the specifically the training side of things. It might be communication or leadership or something along those lines that can make all the difference to particularly culture as well.
Yeah, well, I'm very lucky. A guy works as our head trainer, studio manager, Tim Atkins. He's probably one of the most knowledgeable men I know when it comes to the human body and movement. He's unbelievable. So he runs them, with me, but he runs them, and the knowledge he has, and the time he puts into that to be better. Our coaching team is first class. I've never seen it like it in all my coaching time. Like, his dedication to people and to training. He's unbelievable in what he knows and what he teaches and preaches to our coaches to get better. So it's something that it's a cost as a business owner, but that's what we spoke about. Tim and I spoke about, like,
investing into yourself, into the business, and
100%.
Yeah.
Too many people don't. Too many people don't. Too many people do the bare minimum. And it's like everything in life. It's like you're training. Like, people just do the bare minimum. And if you do the bare minimum, then you're going to get the bare minimum. 100%. The more you put into it, that's my biggest thing. Like, I'm always about, like, hard work and consistency. Like, the harder you work at something, the more consistent you are, the better results you get. And that's in business, that's in your training, that's in your relationships, that's in your friendships, that's in everything. Yeah. So it's all related.
From a training perspective, obviously people that are tuning in, everyone's going to have their, preference or priority of what style of training they enjoy most. And, for some people that tune in may love group training, some people may not, whatever. But from your perspective, like, what do you think are some of the key components of a successful group fitness gym from a training side of things? Like, is it the detail that goes into the programming? Is it making sure that the members understand the fundamentals of certain movements? Is it the intensity of the sessions? Like, what have you found to be successful on your behalf anyway, in terms of the training side of things, that separates you from some other gyms?
The biggest thing is having structure in place. Having programs in place. You can't jump from workout to workout. Like, we do all our weights in 6-week programs, it's so important. Like, technique is, like, unbelievably important. Like, so many. Like, it's so crazy how many people come to us, and they're like, "I've never been corrected. I've been training at X, Y, Z, and for 2-3 years I've never been corrected." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, how can you go somewhere and not be corrected?" Like, some of the,
unfortunately, in the group fitness space, a lot of the trainers end up just being cheerleaders. Their focus goes more so on the intensity and the vibe of the class, more so than the output and the training aspect of things, which is just crazy.
It's crazy. You can create a vibe. That's easy. You can yell and create a vibe as well as treat, and change technique. Like, technique 100%. Is massive. So, like, and I've learned that across the journey since I've been here, and that's such a big focus of mine. Like, I wouldn't care. Like, I'll pull 3 people aside, stop them from training, and say, "Right, let's just work on this."
Yeah.
Let's just sit down and work on this.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the class, pull them aside, right out, let's work on this. Let's come to squat rack, let's squat. Or I'll say to them, because I'm probably lucky that my facility, like I said, I PT morning and night and all day during the day. I'm here all day. And I'll say, right, I'll come back. When can you get here? Right, come here at, when you train next Friday, you're doing the 4:30 class, get here at 4:15 or get here at 4 o'clock, we're going to squat for half an hour. And you have to put time on it. Otherwise, you just have injury after injury after injury. And then you just lose members. Like, I come here, like, no one wants to be injured after every session. Like, they're like, my back hurts. Well, your back shouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing a squat. I'm doing a deadlift. Your deadlift shouldn't. They're like, oh, that's okay. No, it shouldn't. Let's change that. Let's find out what's going wrong. So, that's a big thing that I'm about. Like, I know, so many people, like, we'll have a set program, and you have people with injuries that, or mobility issues that can't do, as you know, can't do certain movements. Like, they just don't do that. But this is what you're going to do in our workout. Like, it's not come here, follow a screen that everyone does the same thing. It's like, right,
exactly,
injury, you'll do that. Or like, I have in a cardio class, I've blokes coming back from footy players or netball players or whatever, or just anyone in gen pop, like, might have a hamstring injury or might have a shoulder injury. Right, we're going to change the whole workout for it. It's not hard, like,
to adapt.
If you can't adapt a workout within 5 minutes for someone, then you're obviously not putting enough time into your work.
Yeah, as a trainer in particular, my early days, I kind of got thrown into the deep end with a lot of group stuff, which I probably didn't have a great deal of experience with prior to that. But one of the things I picked up on so early was just how important the skill of being able to, as you said, just adapt on the go. Like, if it's you need to make an alternative for an exercise, it needs to happen instantly. Otherwise, the whole dynamic of the class slows down and everyone's experience kind of drops off. So the importance of being able to do that as a trainer and not just read out of a textbook and, have your answers in front of your face. Like, it's super important. I think that's the problem. Not the problem, but I think particularly now, like, with being able to do your qualifications and whatnot just online with no real world experience and practical experience in the gym, that's where the missing link is, I think, because it's quite easy to be able to, do the theory and pass all the tests. But once you get to working with people in particular, you don't have time to sit there and go back and figure out what the answers were to this and this. It's like, you need to be able to visually be able to communicate with your client or the clients in the group and adapt as quick as possible.
Yeah, and probably what you said then that last week, communication's massive. Like, you can have all the knowledge in the world, or you could be the most jacked dude in the world or the most ripped girl, fittest girl in the world as a coach. But if you can't communicate and connect to people, then it's a waste of time. Like, it's massive. You've got to connect and be able to teach a difficult movement and explain it simply so people can understand it. So that's a big skill. That's a big skill that I talk to people and my trainers come along. Like, it's all well and good to have all this knowledge and know the movement and so forth, but if you can't connect and if you can't talk to someone, if you can't get them to understand the movement, then, like, you're going to be up against it for a long time. So
I think that's where things like learning, like you touched on, then, like the word that you use, then skill. Like, that's the thing. Well, people don't understand that strength training is a skill. It's like learning to play the guitar. It's like learning to ride a bike. Like,
absolutely,
it's a skill that needs to be practiced correctly over and over and over again. So that's where, like you said, having these cues or even breakdowns of certain movements that just help people understand it a lot easier. I'm sure you could agree with me, like a lift, like a Romanian deadlift, for example. If you haven't got good technique cues or good movement progressions to teach that, it's one of the fucking hardest things in the world to try and get someone to do if they got no idea what you tell them about 18 cues at once and they're just like, fuck.
It's so true. And it's like, we talk about crew, like, I pretty much get, probably in the group scene, like, it's like, right, I find like 3 or 4 cues that's going to make the movement safe. The first thing is make the movement safe and then perfect it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the biggest thing. Don't try and perfect it from the start, because if you've got someone that's going to do an RDL, never done one before, and you try and give them like 10 cues or perfect it, you kid yourself.
Yeah.
Like, get the 3 cues that's going to make it as safe as possible for them, and then work about perfecting it from there. So
one of the things that frustrates me a lot is when you hear the comment, you know, whether it's from clients and members or just general public, that say, you know, it's easy for you to see results because it's what you do for work. You live in the gym, you're always there, blah, blah, blah. But I think what a lot of people don't understand, particularly for those that are fortunate enough to be busy, like someone like yourself, is that it can actually be fucking harder to get your workout done, even though you're at the gym all day, every day, when you're spending that amount of time into one place and then you've got clients and whatnot. So something that I've found extremely important, particularly over the past 12 to 18 months, is someone's ability to adapt as quickly as possible and just roll with the punches and take it for what it is and use whatever you've got available. So I know we spoke about it briefly before we hit record, but are you able to give us an idea of what a typical day, let's say today, looks like for you in terms of time slot wise, just to give people an idea of that, like, regardless of what you do for work, regardless of whether you're a mum with kids, whether you're a corporate that's at work, 5-6 days a week that struggles to find the time to train, like, it's all just about adapting to the circumstances you got available. I think once you fucking hear what Ryan's day has been like today, you suck it up and get in your car and head on to the gym.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit different, man. I'm a little bit unique in how I'm pretty full on my training, but so like I've got a beautiful wife at home and 2 kids, 3 and 1, just turned 1 yesterday, which is a whole new ball game. But yeah, it's really hard. Like, it's so busy. So the only time I got to train, like today, so I got up at 2 to get here at 2:30, and I trained from 2:30 to 4. And then I had a PT from early morning PT from 3:50 to 4:30, and then I had 3 girls come in to do my early morning squat club. So they come in at 4:30. They squatted for half an hour, and then we roll into the 5:10 class, the 5:10 class, 6:20 class, 7:25 class, and then as soon as that class finishes, take it everyone at 8:30. My first PT's waiting for me. Our PT. Do that, then that finishes at so 9:30. All my crew's rolling in for 9:45 class. Do that, and then I have PTs back to back, like one after rolling right the way through to 4:30 tonight, and then I had a 4:30 class. Had my 4:30, 5:30 class, which I just did those 2 then, and then I've got my 2 trainers up there upstairs running our 6:30 class now. So I can talk to a great man now. Upstairs it's cranking, there's people up there everywhere bouncing around, and then we'll finish our chat here, and I'll race back up there. I'll help the lads pack up, and then I'll send them home because we've got an early start tomorrow, and then because I haven't had a chance today, I'll clean the whole gym, vacuum, wash all the floors, get it all set, and I'll probably get out of here probably about maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight, go home, get a few hours of sleep, and then I've got to be back here. So Thursday's another big day. I've got to set up tomorrow, so I'll probably get back here at maybe 3 again in the morning. I'll try and get a bit of a leg session and get set up, and then crack into tomorrow. So that's a standard day for me at the moment. It's like we were talking about before. Like, I've got a little bit more balance now. Like Tuesdays, I
Sounds
get the
like
afternoon off. Yeah, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays are stupid. Thursdays are stupid. Saturday mornings are crazy. But I do get Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and Tuesday afternoons off at the moment. So, which is cool, and I need that to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very lucky that I have a very understanding wife, tolerant wife at home that understands that she allows me to chase my goals and chase my dreams, and what I want to do. So, like, without a strong woman like that, like, yeah, it makes it tough, man. You have to have someone that understands.
Support system so important, yeah.
Oh man, and understands how you tick. Like she gets me that I'm quite unique. But what's changed the ball game now is the kids. So that what's hard. Like, it used to be a lot easier to just knuckle down and go, but when your daughter sort of doesn't want you to leave, that sort of rips at your soul a little bit. So that's a whole new world for me. And I love her and adore her. As my son, as he grows up and gets older, it's going to be crazy as well. But yeah, that's probably the only thing in my life that's ever slowed me down is my kids. So but it's a new ball game, and any parent out there listening would understand and get that it changes the goalpost when you have kids that come into play.
I can imagine, mate. Well, it sounds like you got a great environment there, and everyone's on board. So at least you've got that behind you, mate. Before we wrap up, in terms of the training side of things for yourself personally, obviously you've been doing it for a long time now, and this is a pretty open-ended question, and it's probably going to be different from person to person. But if you were to pick, let's say five lifts in the gym that you could never go without, like they were the only 5 lifts you could ever do ever again, what would they be and why?
Why? I love a bench press. Bench press is my favorite. I've always done a bench. I love bench press. I love chins and I love dips. I love probably my 3 favorite. But now I've had a couple of friends that have. I've never been one to do massive on the legs. Coming from my era, I'm 39 in a month, so the legs weren't a big thing coming up. So it's a little bit new to me, but I've had some friends that have been very encouraging of me to start to get into that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my squats.
Okay, awesome.
And my RDLs. So it's probably that'd be my 5 go-tos. I'll bench, chins, dips, and then barbell squats and RDLs are my favourites now. So doing more and more of them. I find it quite funny now that they see me do legs, but I've never really done it before. But I'm loving it. I'm learning about it. It's cool. It's weird. It's a skill, man. Like I've always squatted and whatever, but now when you seriously squat,
it's all about those movement patterns and just getting comfortable with the certain movements, and then you realise pretty quickly like how big something like hip and ankle mobility comes into play, and how much. And then and this is the thing. This is what I found as well. Not only did it help, like the lower body stuff really helped my upper body growth, but as a trainer, it helps you just understand that like fucking majority of the people shouldn't be fucking squatting with a dumbbell, let alone a barbell on their back. When you see people's like posture and mobility issues and stuff, when you come in the gym and you wonder why they're having sore back or sore knees and they can't even squat with their own body weight. So it's I definitely found once I ramped up my lower body stuff as well, it just helped in terms of becoming like a skilled trainer. It really opens up your eyes to, again, just the difficulties that a lot of people would probably have coming into the gym, just the average Joe.
It makes you a better coach. And that's the thing, there's so much more movements that I probably haven't done because I just haven't done really. But probably the last 3 or 4 years, because I'm coaching, I'm a big on like, whatever you preach, you've got to be able to back it up and do it yourself. So I'm always, I'll never tell anyone to do something I wouldn't do myself. So that's why I probably spent the last few years spent a lot of time on building my legs and understanding the movements, and like I said, it makes you such a better coach. So that's the biggest thing. Like for a PT out there trying to learn your craft, do every exercise you can possibly do. Put it into every program and learn. Like, don't just do the basic movements or whatever you like doing. Do the stuff that you don't like doing. That's the biggest thing I've found. Like, do the stuff that sucks.
Uncomfortable with,
the stuff that sucks the most. Do that the most. Because everyone can do a bicep curl, and everyone can do a push up, and everyone can do the bench press. The stuff that's hard, the stuff that hurts, the stuff that burns. Spend the most time doing that, because that's where you'll learn a lot about yourself and also learn a lot about your coaching.
Brilliant stuff, Ryan, mate. I really appreciate your time tonight. Quite clearly, you're a busy man, and sounds like you've had a big day. So, mate, appreciate your time, man. And I'm really, really looking forward to getting back over Adelaide, hopefully at some point in the near future, if I can get into the state. And come in for a session, man. Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Everyone who's tuned in. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. Ryan, I would love to hear your feedback. So grab a screenshot of this episode, post up on Instagram story, tag myself, tag Brian. I'll have the link to Spark Up Fitness in the show notes as well. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Look forward to chatting to you again soon.